You've got it sideways.
Yes, I'm on my laptop.
Ah, okay. So before, when you're doing it, you had it up that way. That was because you were on your phone. Oh, I like it. See, me being a little bit, OCD. I like that we're matching now. So, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right too. Yeah.
Look, we can even be more matching because I've got reading glasses.
I've got new reading glasses too. They look really good. Where did you get yours from?
Oh, they're just cheap ones. I can wear them with my contact lenses to read now because when I went to the opticians, the nystagmus, which is the neurological eyeball twitching that I've had since the vaccine, has got a lot better. But my vision is blurry when I try and read. So
Mm,
I haven't been able to read for, well, since this all started because of this twitching. And it
mm.
makes me feel really dizzy and sick, as you know. And then I couldn't read because my eyes were going blurry when I was trying to read. So now I've got reading glasses that I can wear on top of my contact lenses and I can read.
Yay! What power have you got?
They're only so my normal lenses are -4, minus or +4,
Mm.
plus 4.5. They're quite strong, and then these are just ones, so
Oh,
they're not very strong.
I think I've got. Can you? I can't read what it is because you need the glasses to read. So actually, I can't even tell you what, but it's written on the inside what power it is. I can't read it. But these are new and they're a bit tight and they're squishing my head a bit. No, and I don't know if I like them or not. I don't know. I haven't really.
I like them.
Do you like them? They're a little
Yeah,
bit bigger than my old ones, so which I've had forever. So
they're
yeah,
very nice.
thank you. Um, so it's been 8 months since the last video. Did you realise that?
No, I knew it'd been a long time.
I know. I had a quick check to see how long it had been, and it had been 8 months. I can't believe it's taken that long for us to sort ourselves out to be able to do this, which is a bit crazy. A lot's been happening, hasn't it, actually, for two people who aren't really functioning very well. Been lots going
Yeah.
on. So, um, but we have a topic, and this is something that I know that we've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and we talk about it quite a lot, don't we? And the topic,
Well, I've completely forgotten what the topic was that you said it was going to be, so that's brain fog for you.
so the topic is friendship.
Ah, yes.
So which it's interesting because it's come up a lot. Somebody asked on the group they wanted us to talk about friendship, or people are always, it's something that's always coming up. And it's something that I actually blogged about fairly recently because I had a conversation come up with interesting. One week I talked to two of my very old friends from Japan, and the whole idea about friendship was on my mind, so I did a blog post about it. But it's a good topic. I think it's really relevant to us, and it's relevant to people who go through chronic complicated illnesses, invisible illnesses. I think friendship is a big topic, and anybody who deals with um, quite big life changing experiences. Friendship becomes a bit of a topic there. And in, I suppose we try not to look about it bad, but there are painful things related to friendship, aren't there? But then there are also quite beautiful and positive things that come about. I mean, we wouldn't be friends if this hadn't happened because we wouldn't have met. So, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is. When you speak to people on the group and in the support community, a lot of people say that, it's the main positive thing that's kind of come out of all this is that they've made friends for life with people that the way I see it is, right, one day we were all walking along in our lives, doing what we do, our busy lives, house, job, children, work, blah, 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 careers. And we all got put on a roller coaster together. And we're all on this big roller coaster going up and down. And some days it's terrifying. And other days it's like one of those nice little scenic roller coasters that just potters along. But everyone is on this big roller coaster together. And you can look back and you can see your friend back there who's on this big incline just about to drop off the edge, and you're poodling along the bit that's flat, but you're still on the same roller coaster.
I love that. I love that way of looking at it.
So you're all still seeing and going through the same stuff, but you're all at different stages in different places, but you know exactly what that person is going through, and the bond that you get from having that mutual experience is quite strong, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's amazing. It reminds me of when I moved to Japan, the friends that I made in Japan, they were very intense friendships. It was like you kind of you managed to squeeze in years and years of friendships in months, and those friendships became very intense, very loyal, very you saw each other through all sorts of different things, and they were really amazing. And there's definitely some friends that I made there are friends for life, even if a lot of us aren't even in Japan anymore, but we have that connection. And I think the same kind of thing is happening here. It's a lot of your previous friendship groups perhaps have changed. A lot of the support network that you had before this happened has changed. So you're relying so much on each other. And that brings about an intensity in friendships. So we've got a new doggy, as you know, Honey, and she's just decided, hold on, she's just decided she's going to be a little bit noisy. So I'm just going to put her here for a minute and see.
Well, we have our fur friends as well, don't we? All of us.
We do.
A lot of us do anyway.
Yeah, we do. We do. That's true. One of the topics I think that comes up a lot in the groups is the loss of friendship. And that's a really hard thing to talk about. But I think it's really important that we acknowledge that. And have your friendships changed in that way? Have you lost friends, do you think, since this happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've lost friends because, you know, I've had several experiences in my life where my life has taken different dramatic turns. So, for example, when I was younger, I had my children very young. And so while all my friends were going off to university, I was having children. And I was kind of like, so in this weird place where going to mother and baby groups, I was like the young mum that none of the kind of middle-aged mums wanted to kind of get to know because I was this young mum. And then my friends were off doing their uni stuff, and you know, they didn't want to be doing baby stuff. So I was kind of in a weird place then. And you know, I eventually did make a few friends through kind of different things that you get involved with when you've got children, including work, because I did work in a nursery school for a while. And then when Vince died, which was my fiance in 2004, again, all my friendship groups changed because a lot of the friends I had then were his friends, other halves. And of course, when he was no longer around, they sort of drifted off the scene eventually as well. So yeah, I'd say that a lot of my friends were more acquaintances over the last 10 years. And you know, I do have friendship groups, but they're more kind of like friends that we meet up with to do certain things with, rather than kind of like a real close bestie like you've become. Like you're my kind of bestie. Haven't really had that for a while, so that's really nice for me, you know, to have proper friends, if that makes sense.
Oh, I can feel my nose tingling. That means I'm getting tearful. So, it's weird, isn't it? Do you get this little bit off that topic there? But I find I get more tearful if people say kind things than if people say nasty things. Nasty things don't tend to make me as upset. They don't They literally can't bring tears to my eyes like that when people say kind things. Is that weird?
I
Do you
think
have
it's a
that?
coping mechanism. I think it's because you become hardened to it. So you learn how to completely blank it out, the horrible
People being
things. But when
horrible.
someone's kind, it's like, oh my God, someone is being genuine and kind. So it kind of touches a place where maybe the horrible comments don't.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never really thought about it so much and tried to look at an explanation. You're being very cute. So, um, so when the fact that you lost your fiance and that makes you, I suppose, you have a really good understanding of people who have been bereaved because of the kind of, because of what happened to us. So
Mm.
you're in quite an interesting position then to understand that. And I wonder if they're probably going through a lot of loss of friendships too. Um, I wonder if is it different because of the nature of what has happened to us and has happened to their partners. I wonder if that's different from if you lose somebody the way that you lost
Well,
Vince.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities, so I think there's so many crossovers, and for me as well, of course, I was 25 when he died. So again, I'd be sitting, in a cafe or something, and with one of the boys, probably Ross, and maybe sometimes that you get talking to little old ladies and things, and they'll say, "Oh, my husband died last year," and I'd say, "So did mine," and they'd kind of look at you. You don't quite fit into that demographic of being, like an old widow lady, because you're young and you've got two small children. So, some of the bereaved group, I think, I do really feel for, because I understand how they are, they're young, they've still got children to look after. Um, and then you've got people obviously that lost parents and brothers and sisters as well, which is more difficult for me to relate to. But yeah, I understand a lot of what they're going through. And that need, I think Charlotte Wright recently said it, it's not about the money. The money helps, but it's about getting an apology. You just want someone to say, "I'm really sorry this has happened. We're going to put things in things in place for future so it doesn't happen to anyone else." Because you want someone to say, "I don't want anyone to go through what you've been through because someone else made a mistake." Um, and it's that apology and that recognition that all this has happened to you because of a mistake, because something went wrong.
And do you think that um, that recognition helps friends who might not be entirely sympathetic about what's happened to us? Do you think that helps them understand more? Do you think that impacts the friendships?
I
Will that
think,
change?
yeah, I think it's really difficult for people to understand what you're going through unless they've been through it themselves. I mean, it's really, really difficult, isn't it? And I think that's why the friendships that we've made with people throughout this that are going through the same thing are so special, because we all understand what each other is going through and we can relate to it. So I think it's really difficult for someone else to kind of say they know exactly what you're going through if they've never been through it themselves, and just just kind of being there for you, and just giving you a phone call without anyone asking them to, or just getting a phone call late at night, 9 o'clock at night. "How are you? You okay? I'm around tomorrow, I'm free, shall I pop in, or can I do something to you? How can I help you?" I think that's a really important phrase. I know you've said that before, haven't you?
Mm. How can I help? What can I do? What do you need? I think those are the important things. And I think that leaves everything open to you to be able to say whatever you want. It's not about fixing, it's just about giving that message that, I'm here for you, whatever it is that you need. And and it encourages us to think, what do we need? And I learned all of this, the volunteer work that I did after the tsunami in with the community there, is I just used to say to them all the time, what do you need? Every time I saw them, just kept saying it. Every year I went, I'd say, what do you need? And at first, a bit like us, maybe, actually, if somebody said to us in the early months, what do you need? We probably wouldn't be able to answer that.
No.
And I think we live in a world where people, they want pain to, I've spoken about this, they want pain to go away, and I think that's why it can be quite difficult for some friends to see the pain that we're going through, because they just want to fix it, they want it to go away, they don't want to see us in pain. And I think those of us who've lost friends through this, and I there are friends I don't hear from anymore who I used to hear from regularly, and I think it can be easy for us to feel angry and to feel let down and disappointed and upset about how we don't hear from them anymore. It feels like they don't care. But in reality, I think it's just really hard for them to see us in so much pain and for them to feel helpless. I don't think it's always an unkind motivation for not staying in touch. I think it can be just really, really hard for them. They just don't know what to do.
Yeah, and it's friendship is very easy, isn't it, when both parties are sailing along in life and there's no problems, or there's kind of problems that you can have a good moan about and that's it. It's, oh, I'm really tired, I'm not getting enough sleep, but hey ho sort of thing. But when it's, sometimes we can sound a bit like a broken record, can't we? We cancel plans, 1 week we're feeling okay and we book to see a friend for coffee, and then it comes to that day and we're back in bed with migraines or whatever we've got going on and we have to cancel. So we're very unreliable. And we're not, I don't want to say we're not good friends, but we're very unreliable friends.
Very unreliable. Can't go to anything. We're not much fun, are we?
Well, I don't know about that.
I think, I think we can be fun. I mean, we have fun. We make each other laugh, and we have on the group. There's a lot of fun. There's unexpected fun in the middle of all of this. I think there can be. And I think at some point you just have to think, oh God, sod it, and start laughing about things. You have to find a way to laugh about it. You have to let people into your life that will help you laugh. But if you can't laugh and you can't have fun in the way that you used to, the people that you used to have that fun with, they don't know that. I wonder if our friends, the ones that we've lost, think that we're kind of sitting around at home in bed still, like being really miserable and crying a lot. And there's definitely still days when that happens, as we both know. But you can't live like that for 2 years. This has been over 2 years for us now. And at some point, you have to find a way to laugh at something in life. And perhaps the friends that we used to have, they don't have the patience to wait for us to get to that stage. But that's what happens with everybody who's, I think, has dealt with grief or a serious illness or loss or all of these big life-changing dramatic events. At some point you do laugh again, but we wouldn't have believed that at the time, would we, when we've been through those
No,
experiences? I've said to friends before, when they've been going through a difficult time, you will laugh again. You will, but you have to just deal with what you're dealing with right now. And the friends that we need them just to sit with us while we're doing that, and that's really hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in the world with chronic illness or illnesses that are like ours, that they kind of disappear. They feel they disappear from society, and it's a shame that people don't stick with them.
So what do we do then if we feel like we're, for people who are coming to terms with losing their friends, losing people that were really important to them? how can they get
Well,
through it?
it's very easy just to turn around and say, if they've disappeared, they don't deserve you.
It is, see, and I don't like that way of thinking. I
No.
think that feels very negative, and I think it negates that in that very long history you might have with that friendship. And you don't want to turn your back on all of that. You don't want it. It feels like if you say that, none of that matters. None of that was important. None of that was real. And it's the easier way to do it because it's less painful. It's more painful to acknowledge, actually, you know what, I have this amazing friend and I may well be losing them because of something really awful that's happened to me. It's much more painful, isn't it, to do that and to look
Mm,
at it and acknowledge it.
yeah. And I think friendships, yeah, some people do have friends literally for life. Like, I know people that are still best friends with people that they knew at school. Some people that does happen. They meet someone when they're sort of 5 or 6, and they're still best friends with them by the time they're at the end, you know. But for a lot of people, what happens is life isn't stagnant, is it? It changes. Every so many years, something in your life will change, be it location, health, money, marriage, children, something dramatic will happen in your life. And I think it's a natural part of life that you don't move on from those friendships, but you things in your life move away from them. It doesn't mean that those friendships weren't valid or that you've walked away on bad terms. It just means that your life has changed and it's bringing new people into your life. And the people that were your friends are moving on with their lives in a different direction. It doesn't always necessarily mean that they're not friends with you anymore. It just means that your life is taking you somewhere else at the moment. I think that's a positive thing. I don't see that as negative. I don't think life is stagnant. So I think movement in life is a good thing.
I
What do
think
you think?
no, I agree and I definitely think that when people leave your life, it creates space. And I've said this to other people close to me who've going through difficult times before. It's like, well, when that and I've said it to do with families as well. If you're not close to your family, I've always looked at it because I didn't used to be particularly close to mine. Um, and I've always looked at it as it's created this incredible space for these amazing people to come into my life and to feel like they're family. But I think when friends go, I find that more painful than I do when there's an upset with family, actually. I find it really difficult. And I think because from when I was very young, my friends were very important to me, possibly more than my family, because I felt quite let down by my family. Um, so I find it very difficult. You've managed it. I'd like to get to that place, I think, to be really philosophical about it and to let friends just kind of drift away. But I find it hard. I find it quite, even talking about it, I still find it quite difficult. Because I don't know how to do superficial friendships. Do you know what I'm
No,
going to say?
I'm
That
not
I
very
don't
good
know
at
how
that
to do
either.
that when you meet somebody and you're able to just have those casual conversations. I can't do it. I want to get to the important stuff like within minutes straight away. And my friend Jim always says, he said, I like when I say I like to have meaningful conversations, and he says, "Oh, you'd have a meaningful conversation with someone at a bus stop." And I would, and I don't know how to do it, so I don't know how to do that transition when you go from being a very intense, close friend into something where you just send each other birthday cards and Christmas cards. I don't really know how to do that. I find that transition painful. But, there's been a lot of painful things in the last few years, and I've learned some amazing things from them. So maybe this is something else to learn.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think it's I think those I wouldn't say superficial, but those kind of more transient friendships that, you know, you might just meet them for a lunch every sort of now and then, and they're not necessarily relationships that you get into really deep and meaningful conversations with. It's, you know, it's just a catch up, if you like. um I think they have a place too, right? Because we, you know, we don't always need to do the whole meaningful conversation thing. We don't always, sometimes the lighter conversations are actually quite refreshing. But I do understand where you're coming from, because I don't like really superficial stuff. I'm not a really superficial person, you know. I
I
don't
don't
do
watch
that.
TV. So,
No, I
and
don't much.
I was out of the UK for 15 years. So when I came back to the UK, and I found that I just didn't relate to a lot of things that people talked about. And you know, not watching TV, I still don't relate to things. So the
I think it's really funny because me and you are both the same. Like, if someone says to me, "What's that actor's name that was in da da da?" I don't know names of actors. I can't. I'm not. I don't know celebrities' names. I don't watch reality TV. I don't know. The only reason I know someone's in something like The Only Way Is Essex or Made in Chelsea is if they've got fake tan and white teeth. I'm like, they must be in one of those reality TV shows, because I I don't know. I don't know these people. But like, so, you know, I do watch TV, but I don't watch a lot of it. I watch certain things and that's it. So yeah, I'm pretty similar, but a lot of people, you know, that sort of stuff is really important to them. It's an escapism. So
and maybe if we, you know, bring it back to, you know, the reason why we became friends, the reason we got to know each other is, and maybe this is the same with a lot of people in our community, if you are limited in your functioning and limited in what you can do with your spare time, perhaps you, those relationships and the friendships and the people that you do spend time with, you want that to be meaningful, you want that to be really valuable, you want
mm,
that to be something important and nurturing. uh,
mm.
and
And
maybe
there's reciprocal support, isn't there, when you're both going through something similar? You know, you can feel like you're helping someone else and they can feel like they're helping you in that friendship. So you're kind of, it's a very reciprocal relationship.
mm, we've we've run out of time already. So I think I think friendships, kind of to sum up, I suppose, the friendships that I've made, and definitely the friendship with you, is just that you're right, you know, where we started, those are the beautiful things about this horrible, ugly situation. They make them really beautiful. And you get to the point where you think, how what would it be like to deal with this situation without somebody like you in my life? And I can't imagine how I would do that.
Oh. I know, I know. I feel exactly the same. It's